This is chapter 9E on experimental probability. In this chapter, you'll learn the difference between theoretical and experimental probability, but we're really going to focus on calculating experimental probability. So first of all, we need to understand what is this difference between theoretical and experimental probability. So we've talked about this before. The theoretical probability is an educated and informed guess on the chance of an event. Basically, it's what you think will happen. So when you flip a coin, what's the probability of it landing on heads? Well, you might think, I think 50%, because it's true. There's only two possible outcomes, heads or tails, and heads takes up one of the sides, which is 1/2, so therefore it's 50%. Now this is what we think. Experimental probability, now the word experiment means to have done something, is the chance of an event happening, the chance of an event is based on the results of an experiment. So it's already been done. So you're basically theorizing on what has happened. So you comment on what actually happened. So for example, you flipped a coin and you flipped a coin 10 times and you got heads 3 times, you got tails 7 times. That's actually what happened. So then you would think, well, I got heads 30% of the time and in tails I got 70% of the time. And you would compare it. It's like, wait, hold on. What's going on? So theory is what we think. It's very based on knowledge. Experiment is the reality of life. So basically, in summary, calculating experimental probability. In this case, the experiment has already happened. Data has been collected. You are now calculating the probability of a future event happening based on what has already happened. So basically, in one nice neat sentence, you're using the data to help you make a future prediction. You're making a theoretical prediction based on your experimental results. So if we look at the example just previous, right here, if I looked at my data and I'm like, oh, I got 30% heads and 70% tails, maybe next time I might predict this, maybe I might get 40% heads and 60% tails. So I'm basically making a new conclusion, a new prediction based on past events. Let's move forward into a problem. Afzal and Barry tested the spinner, and here are the results. So basically, here they've spun it a whole bunch of times, and this is what happened. Afzal landed on red 42 times and blue 58 times, and Barry landed on red 18 times and blue 32 times. Use the data to estimate the probability of the spinner landing on red, and then make a comment. So if you know what to do, pause. If you're not sure what to do, just keep following along. So we're working on red. We want to, first of all, in order to find probability, we need to know the total. So if we notice, Afzal basically spun his 100 times in total, whereas Barry spun his 50 times in total. Because you add 42 and 58, then 18 and 32. Now, to land on red for Afzal is 42 out of 100, which happens to be 42%. Barry landed on red 18 out of 50. Now to convert this into percent, remember we need to turn our denominator into 100, so I'm just simply going to multiply by 2. This makes 36 out of 100, which is 36%. So if we look at their two results and compare them, they're actually pretty close together. So a comment I would say is that the chances of it landing on red would be maybe 40% next time. That's something I would say, of course, in a complete sentence. Because, well, Afzal lands on it 42% of the time, and Barry lands on it 36% of the time. So somewhere around 40% is what I would predict. And that's it.